Brennan out of Hawaii.
Colt Brennan is heading to the NFL. A state senator is arrested for driving under the influence.
It is very frightening for victims.
But experts say getting out of a bad relationship is key to staying safe. And more than 25,000 old shoes show up in Waikiki. Good evening and thanks for joining us on this Sunday night. I'm Marissa Yamane. The next chapter in the Colt Brennan story was written by the Washington Redskins today. John Veneri joins us now to explain. John.
Yeah, the waiting game was certainly on. After 2 rounds yesterday, only Jordan Dizon of Waimea and Colorado was selected in the second round. Today, the final 5 rounds went down, and the guy with the biggest chance of being chosen from Hawaii was the former Warrior quarterback.
With the 186th pick in this draft, in the middle portion of the 6th round, a guy who set or tied 31 NCAA passing records, Colt Brennan out of Hawaii.
You know, obviously as the draft wore on, I mean, you know, I was getting a little frustrated with the main thing about the draft, though, was going to the right type of team, and that's definitely what I feel like when I think about the Redskins, is that it's a perfect fit for me. I really, you know, like the way the coaches talk about me and what their plans were for me, and you know, I'm really super excited about the whole situation.
And we're going to hear more from Colt in sports, including his new coach, Coach Zorn, and we'll also tell you where some of his former teammates went today as well.
Good to hear that he's actually happy with the team that picked him.
He's happy.
Yeah.
He's happy, and he thinks it's a good fit.
Wonderful. Thanks, John.
Sure. On day 1, Waimea boy and Colorado All-American linebacker Jordan Dizon was picked up in the 2nd round by the Detroit Lions. Today, he was introduced to the Detroit media, taken by limo to the Lions facility, getting to meet head coach Rod Marinelli, that is, then getting to stand next to first-round pick Gosder Cherelis, 6'6" tackle from Boston College. Now, Dizon was the 14th pick of the 2nd round, 45th overall. That was it for the first 2 rounds. Day 2, the rounds kept rolling and rolling, and still nothing. That is until the 6th round. Now, after 5 full rounds and 9 quarterbacks selected, former Hawaii quarterback Colt Brennan waited and waited, and the call finally came. The NCAA leader in accuracy and touchdown passes was scooped up by the Redskins with the 186th overall pick, 20th of the 6th round.
With the 186th pick in this draft, in the middle portion of the 6th round, a guy who set or tied 31 NCAA passing records, Colt Brennan out of Hawaii.
As I've studied him on tape, yes, he can be an accurate thrower. But what bothers me about that accuracy is the fact that he doesn't get the ball out of his hand quick enough. He waits for the receiver to come open.
For Colt Brennan, I asked the same question around October, long before the Sugar Bowl against Georgia, long before the Senior Bowl, long before anything that was negative about Colt Brennan. He was throwing for a ton of yards every week. 2nd or 3rd round was in the mix from quality personnel people that I spoke to about Colt Brennan. He could go that early. So here's a kid in the 6th round. Hey, he's not a kid without that is completely without. This kid has
a good
ability.
Value here in this round.
I don't have any problem with it.
They're really, you know, committed to bringing me in and really coaching me up and you know, developing me as a quarterback. And, you know, I have some experience in the West Coast and, you know, obviously have some things that, you know, maybe that could really possibly make me a really productive quarterback in the NFL. And I'm really happy about the way he's approaching the situation. And I'm just really thrilled for the opportunity.
He was a guy that I had followed through college just because of all the numbers that he was putting up, and you know, I think the history of most clubs is to try to get a quarterback if there's one that you see that you might be able to develop. He was there, and just thought he would be a excellent choice to come in, compete.
And more on Colt tomorrow. Colt was the only former Warrior drafted, but a few of his former teammates will get their shot. Receivers Devon Bess, Jason Rivers, and Ryan Grice-Mullins have signed free agency deals. Bess is joining former Warriors Samson Sattelli and Reagan Mauia in Miami. Rivers will be headed to Tennessee, while Ryan Grice-Mullins, RGM, signed on with the Texans. Offensive lineman Hercules Sattelli signed with Arizona. To the current bows now, the Warriors. Last night at Aloha Stadium, the Warrior football team closed out its spring drills with the Warrior Bowl green and black game. About 10,000 showed up for the full-speed scrimmage. The consensus was that the game was a complete success after 15 days of practice with Against each other, the fans, the band, the cheerleaders were all able to get involved. Quarterback Inoki Funaki had a decent outing for the black team, throwing for 145 yards, a pair of touchdowns. Tyler Grunke also tossed a TD pass in the first half, but Jake Santos out of San Diego and Bryce Kalau'okaea from Castle helped close the gap. But it was the black team that got the win, 24-20. Next up, fall camp.
The kids needed a game like this. You know, they practice and practice. And to come down here in this venue with the fans out here, the excitement, I thought they had a great time. They enjoyed themselves, you know, and it was fun.
I'm glad for the support because last couple of years, you know, it's been kind of empty. Yeah? So I was happy to see not only this section, but the end zone section kind of loading up, you know what I mean? It's good having all the support. So,
you know, number one, the fans, I think our fans are the best in America, and it showed. That's, you know, 10 times as many as we've had before, and it was really exciting to see them. They're so supportive, and I thought it was a real spirited effort. They got ready to play, and you know, the winners were playing for steaks and the losers hot dogs, and so it made them, you know, compete a little bit at the end.
Your brother got the bragging rights on you for the time being.
Wait till next year. It'll be different.
Well, it turned out to be a long wait for former UH quarterback Colt Brennan.
But that phone call finally took place, and our Robert Kekalo joins us now with details. Robert.
Now, Brennan got picked in the 6th round of the NFL draft today, 186th selection overall by the Washington Redskins. In 3 seasons at UH, Colt set NCAA records with 131 touchdown passes and a 70.4% completion rate. He also threw for over 14,000 yards, 3rd all time. I spoke with Colt today, and later in Island Sports, his reaction on heading to our nation's capital. Unfortunately for UH football fans, Brennan was the only former Warrior to get drafted into the NFL. What was it like watching every other quarterback get drafted ahead of you?
Well, I mean, it was to be expected. You know, obviously people have been predicting me to slide, and you know, obviously it's frustrating, and you know, you're trying to make sense of everything, but it's really tough, and that's just part of the draft.
I hope you're all having a pleasant evening. NFL draft became a long weekend for former UH quarterback Colt Brennan, but finally today, in the 6th round, with the 186th pick overall, the call came from the Washington Redskins. Former Warrior record setter, tops all time in college football in both accuracy and touchdowns, was a 10th QB taken in the draft by a team with a rookie head coach in Jim Zorn. Did you talk with Jim Zorn?
I did for a little bit, yeah.
He seems like he's a guy who wants to open it up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And what's cool is that I've been on the West Coast before, and I'm going to be able to go in there and compete and you know, maybe solidify my spot there on the depth chart and just see what happens after that. Nah, man, I just gonna get ready, man. Stay humble, get ready, go get ready for camp.
What's next? When do you report? When do you check in?
I report Thursday. I'll leave Thursday on a plane, so I'll get in Thursday.
Brennan's also 3rd on the all-time list, throwing for 14,193 yards. With the Redskins, Colt will battle for a backup spot to starter Jason Campbell. Now, Brennan was the only Hawaii guy drafted today. Some of the other hopefuls are getting into the league via free agency. Slotback Devon Bess signed with the Miami Dolphins. Fellow slotback Ryan Grice-Mullins, like Bess, gave up his senior season at UH. He hooked on with the Houston Texans. After the draft, receiver Jason Rivers signed on with the Tennessee Titans. Offensive guard Hercules Satele got a free agent contract from the Arizona Cardinals. The last night's Warrior Bowl, black team, led by quarterback Inoki Funaki, beat the green team 24-20. Full contact scrimmage marked the end of spring practice for the UH football team. It's been a while since this football program had a spring game like this. You gotta love this crowd.
I love the crowd. You know, I said going in that we have the best fans in America, and you know, it shows. They were out there, they were here early, they were here when we drove up, and you know, this is what it's all about right here. We've got great fans, and the players really appreciate it.
Estimated 10,000 fans on hand last night. Coach Mack says this will be an annual event.